Okay, so we're looking at the relationships between the new modal cages, and there's only one repeated note in these cages. Okay, so that's part of the chart. Let's kind of hop around subjects here so we will kind of inadvertently cover the most important thing without knowing it. With this chart, of course we could start on root, but of course we can't see that. So let's just start on the A cage, the A5 long, 5, 6, 7, any key, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th. If you're in the key of B flat, the 5th would be F, the 6th would be a G, and the 7th, that's the 7th is the leading tone to the root, would be A. Okay, so it works that way. Any key. 5, 6, 7 in C is G, A, and B. 5, 6, 7 in the key of E, okay, is B, C sharp, D sharp. Okay, so just 5, 6, 7. If we're looking at that particular string shape, all right, we're going to play that as a cage. So the bottom string shape is going to be 5, 6, 7. Key of C here is 5, 6, 7, like that. Okay, if I wanted to play that in E, what is E the 5th of? The 5th of A. So I would have to use the A shape there. And indeed that's what that is, A5 long, where E then becomes the 5. So it would be E, F sharp, G sharp. Okay? 5, 6, 7 to the key of E, G sharp being the leading tone to A. So here we have 5, 6, 7 is the bottom string of the A long cage, 5, 6, 7. How are we going to play it? We're going to start 5, 6, 7 and then go right around to root 2, 3. Okay, because remember our circle here. We started A5, 6, 7. Okay, we're going to go around, skip 2. Remember, we're skipping 2 now to get to the 5th, the string shaped 5th. So this is the cage circle. If it was the short patterns, normal cage system would say C, A, G, E, D. So to skip one string to the other, the C string would skip the A and go to the G, which is its 5th. Then we'd skip the E and go to the D, which is its 5th. Then we'd skip the C and go to the A, which is a 5th of D is A. That would be how you build a pattern. So starting on the E string shape, in the short patterns, we'd have the E, the 5th of E is the C string shape, 5th of the C string shape is the G string shape, 5th of the G string shape is the D string shape, warp up, 5th of D is A string shape short, 5, 6, 5th of A is back to E. But now we're going to go from A5 long, skip 2 to the E long root. So it's right there, E long root, root 2, 3. So we go 5, 6, 7. We'll go over here, but remember the chart's going to start itself over again. So it's the E long again, and we're just going to build, this is string, string, string. So here's A5. Then we're going to go to E root, right down here, root 2, 3. Then we're going to skip 2 over to C4, C4 over here, C4 long, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and so on. And so on. The next one up is E. We're going to skip 2 from C4 and go to E. So it's interesting how we actually skip 2 in the KG system to get to the next string shape. Now, granted, the relationship between these Sure, if you're going up one, the fifth of E is C, as you know, and that's only, remember, I'll just give you the little reminder, the E-shaped F, the E-shaped fourth rather, and going to the C-shaped, the C-shape. So you go to the C-shape, you go to its fourth, its E-shape, conversely, because of a triad without, you know, the fourth and the seventh, the fourth, you call this the E-shaped fourth, its fifth is C. So in other words, the fourth of C is F, and the fifth of F is C. Okay? But keep the B flat out of it. Keep the B flat out of it, and also the other note that's a problem is the seventh. Okay, that kind of thing. So, keeping the fourth and the seventh out of it, they're interchangeable. The fourth of the root is also the root of the root of the fifth, where the root becomes the fifth. Okay, so again, the fifth string shape of E is C, and etc. We go into normal fifth relationships. Fifth of C is G, fifth of D is D, fifth of G is D. But when we get back to this, all right, fifth of A is E. Okay, the fifth of E is C. But look at here, in the Lydian box, E is not the fifth of C in string shapes. It's the fourth, and I'm just going to show you really quickly why that is. Going from the Lydian to the E string. Here's our Lydian box right here. 4, 5, 6. The fifth of C is G, but we're not concerned with that string shape. This is pattern fitting. We're going to take it a caged letter over. Guess what? You go over one caged letter in string shapes, you're going from a fifth to a fourth. So it goes to its fifth, but because of shape fitting to keep it in the box, it's going to a fourth. So here, this is a fourth relationship. That's all it is. There's nothing to be afraid of. I just showed you the reason right here. The fourth of C is E. So we've got from the Lydian box to the Locrian is a string-shaped fourth like that. And there's another one of them too. Then it goes back to fifths. Okay. Now, so what I want to explain right now is in the old system, we're doing 1, 4, 5 in every position. Okay, C shape, F shape, G shape. I even did the bar for you. But in this particular diagram with the modals, I found we better stay on the safe side, and I ran out of time on the segment before to explain this. The root long pattern, root 2, 3, happens to be a 1, 4, 5. So here we got E-shaped 1 in the E cage, A-shaped 4, fourth of E is A. In the A cage, in the same E cage rather, A-shaped fourth, we're going to the next cage up if we can't fit it because of the fret nut. Now remember, don't fear not, because so we go just take the same A shape to the fifth. It's going to sound like this. Okay, why? Because we can't get this particular without doing a half shape there because of the fret nut. Now fear not, it's not all because of the fret nut, it's just that's how I stumbled onto it, and that got me into the modal 7-cage system. So just by playing away from the fret nut with drift that goes to talk about drift.